Well, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for bearing with us through that 2 hour break. We are back with 3 additional games of Scrabble from day 3 of the Scrabble Players Championship. I'm Matt Canik, and this afternoon or evening, I will be joined by Noah Kalus. So, Noah, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I was really excited that I was able to do this because this is the first nationals I've missed since 2012. And I was getting some serious FOMO, but this helps a bit.
Absolutely, yeah. We get to watch some of the action without actually being there. And honestly, I'm having a good time just watching this live feed in between games, watching a bunch of my favorites move around the playing room, sit. I saw Cesar Jaramillo, who is a longtime club director in Austin, where I'm from, sitting down playing another game during your lunch break, man. We got a lot of word nerds here. Can't catch enough Scrabble. 31 games ain't enough for you, Caesar. You're gonna play more. It's incredible. But yeah, while I'm missing out in Vegas, I'm not missing out on that heat and not missing out on the action since I get to sit here on a microphone. So exciting stuff. I'm super glad you could join us, Noah.
Hey, thanks. Me too.
And I'm getting word that tomorrow morning we'll bring on another co-anchor. We're kind of doing a rotating crew of other players with me, but Noah on this afternoon and Chloe Fatsis going to be joining us tomorrow. So awesome. I
Oh,
appreciate
so
all the representation and everybody who's helping me out with this, because otherwise you're stuck with me and bad jokes all day. And that's my high school students will
you
be able to
have
relate
great
too much.
jokes. Come on, no, don't.
I
Come
always
on.
shot for
Do
the
you
sweet
listen? Do
spot.
you listen to Twitch chat about your jokes? Because I don't think they are the best judges of it.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
funny guys.
Twitch, if you're reading comments on the internet, you probably need to uninstall every app on your phone and go look at the sun. But I
There you
digress.
go.
When
Yeah.
I was teaching high school, I always shot for the sweet spot. I said, if nobody laughs at my jokes, then either I've put my class to sleep or they're really not that funny. And if everybody laughs at my jokes, then they're too funny and I'm not doing a good job. So the sweet spot to me is I get one student who laugh, one girl sitting in the front row who snickers a little bit and covers her mouth up. And I'm like, yes, that's what I
You know,
want.
it's
Make
the
it
it's
too
the
funny.
effort that counts, honestly. If somebody's making an effort, if somebody's, if I get a teacher making jokes and they're putting in an effort, it just shows they care, and caring is good. You want a teacher or professor who cares.
I just the sweet spot. You can't be too funny or you're unprofessional, but you can't be not funny or you've lost them all. So one
All
student
right.
laughing is always what I shot for.
All right, well, don't be too funny.
Oh, trust me, it is impossible. I am not good at it. All right. Well, while we're
uh,
here, I want to go through and highlight some of our other divisions. We've been featuring largely just NWL Division One, but we have 6 divisions going on at this tournament. Jackson Smylie, a top NWL Division One, and when he sits down, we'll get
man,
his game.
Jackson.
But I want to look at some of these other divisions. We've also got Division Two, where James Connolly sits atop the field right now through 18 games. He is 13-5, narrowly ahead of Dan Stock, Scrabble director extraordinaire and fanatic of purple at 12.5 wins, and a whole pack of strong players. It seems like the entire city of Los Angeles exists at 12-6 right now, as Maddie Kamen, Joel Elkins, Alan Stern, and Billy Nakamura, all clubmates, sitting at 12-6, along with Scott Leifer, who's won this division before, and Kevin Schutz. In Division Three, Ben Greenwood in first place, 15-3, one game ahead of Greg
Woo!
Feldkamp, who I believe has also won Division Three before, and
I
Hank
believe he has,
and
yeah.
Benjamin Ansell, both 2 games behind Ben at 13-5. And my soon-to-be clubmate, Jennifer DeWalshy, sitting atop Division 4 right now, narrowly ahead of Tristan Vanek, who's just made a return from Scrabble, but he was a long-time school Scrabble player who kind of fell off the face of the planet for 10 or so years and is making a triumphant re-entry as he's second place in Division 4. I'd be remiss not to talk about CSW as well, where Wellington Jakiri is sitting on top of the field, 2 games clear of David Eldar. Wellington at 15-3, which is very impressive. David Eldar 13-5, and several players nipping at their heels. 12-6, we see Alex Seaholm, Olatunde Uruole, Brad Whitmarsh, and Joel Wapnick, as well as CSW Division 2. We've got a small field of 14 players led by Sanya Adebole, And underneath that, Salami Olabisi and Charles Osadolor, with Priya Fernando from Canada in fourth at 11-7. So lots of action, lots of Scrabble, lots of divisions, but also lots more to be played. And we'll see if those players are able to hang on or make a run, or if a dark horse from deeper down in those divisions is able to pull ahead and make a run. We see Jackson and Kevin now getting the action underway, starting to put the tiles in the bag. If you are brand new to Scrabble and Scrabble streaming and Scrabble tournaments, we always put those tiles in 5x5 squares. We make 4 of them to show all 100 letters are there. Letters do sometimes get legs and walk away and jump on the floor, or in your shoe, or on your chair, or in the bag of the board next to you. So we always want to make sure all 100 tiles are there.
I've had one fall into my water cup last tournament.
Nice. Wow, that is an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, the bag was very short. I drew tiles and it popped out of the bag into my water cup. We didn't know what happened. We called the director over because I already drew 7 tiles. Anyways, the game is starting, so I'll digress. Tell the
A
rest of that
long
story
time
later.
ago, we had a blank, quote unquote, fall into my opponent's pocket. So that's a little controversy for you, but I don't details on that. Cheating is exceptionally rare in tournament Scrabble. Most people here simply because they love the game and they love playing it with other people. And speaking of the game, here we go.
That's
Kevin
true.
Fraley off to the races. AERT, his first 4.
Oh, he's one of these drawers. Oh, wow.
AERTTLE. So Kevin with one of those awkward racks, all 1 pointers, very high probability, but there
Nothing
are
in there.
no 7s. Yeah. And all of a sudden we get a tough decision. Kevin on stream last time had a similar rack, a bunch of 1 pointers and a blank, and he opted to play AI for 4, holding AEIS blank. Here, I think we might see something similar where he plays ET.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think any sort of exchange would be advisable here. Maybe LT, but even that's pretty sus. So yeah, Kevin's seems pretty he doesn't seem oh, and he's setting up ET just like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, the question is, do you play it or exchange it? And as I said this morning, really, if I have 2 tiles that are going to score 4 points, I'd prefer to exchange them than to give my.
I opt to exchange too. Yeah,
I don't want to give them opportunities.
Kevin opts for the other school of thought, and now Jackson with a seemingly bad rack, but there is a pretty noticeable 6 in there, which he has numerous places to play.
Yeah, so a very, very appropriate word. I had my best night ever in Las Vegas at a blackjack table.
Oh, as Kevin draws the same tiles.
No way, Kevin! How did you do that?
Oh no!
Wow.
Poor guy. Oh gosh.
Wow.
Oh, humanity.
Jeez. Okay. Well,
that's the worst when I have look at his face.
For 8s out of this now. No 7s, obviously.
Ladder 8s, laderites, literate.
Tolerate. Yeah, he'll have
all
8s with C, I, O, or S. So we'll see. And if Jackson does play canny or cranny, well, canny, depending on the placement, we'll give Kevin a bingo back. That C going to be big. Where's Jackson going to play? But he's going to play underneath.
Oh, no.
Interestingly, he's actually sacrificing points in order to do this. He can play cranny and ETA for 22. That would give back the Raclette, which
does not give back a bingo now.
Right.
Unless there's something I'm not noticing through an ERTA.
Yeah. Great choice on accident by Jackson as he dodges raclette from Kevin. Raclette, of course, like this melted cheese in French cuisine that they ooze all over your food. I'm not hungry because I just ate a big old meal, but Kevin not going to get raclette down and instead got to figure out what to do. Does he want to play off ET and hold a superb leave again, or does he take the double available Eternal for 28 points? Either TE.
I would opt for the double, I think.
I don't know. I could see it going either way depending on my mood. And even if you're not going to double, just the word eater, another Vegas word, EATER, plays on top of cranny for 26. So all of those very reasonable options for Kevin. But he's got to decide, do I play short and hope to bingo next turn? Because that can backfire on me. Or do I play longer and see where the bag takes me?
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see what he does. Generally, again, I'd opt to have exchanged ET there, but we see him play ET. A lot of people will do that. It's really just you could say a lot about uh, top equity plays and what's mathematically best, but a lot of the top players have instincts, and they depend on whom they're playing or this particular situation, whatever it may be, that will opt for them to not go for the highest equity play every time. But
Yeah, and for those newer to the game, equity is a simple way to approach Scrabble for some top players. Simply, how many points am I scoring right now, and how many points is my leave worth? Top players will go to, and you can see in the chat people doing this as well, assign mathematical point values to different leaves. Obviously, something like UU is a terrible leave. It's going to net you fewer points on average next turn, whereas some of these nice leaves, AELRT, for instance, on Kevin's, can be worth as much as 15 to 25 points. So the easy, simple approach to Scrabble is simply my play is worth this many points and the leave is worth this many points. You add or subtract those numbers, and there's your equity
and
balance.
as Kevin plays off ETT, interesting choice. But I like it.
Yeah,
I'm vibing with it.
it's a reasonable option for sure. I think I
But
would love to
it's, oh
play
no, Unatones
longer.
does not fit.
I would have grabbed more points there. And Jackson does have one available 8 out of this rack. It is through a
Oh,
T,
does.
but the T is not quite in the right spot, as Eternal would have given him unatoned, but instead he has no playable bingos. And Kevin picking up E and an I, which are
Very
going to help
nice
him bingo,
rack.
but also an X. So probably not going to bingo again next turn, but at least he'll have points.
Yeah, no available 8s at all, actually, with any tile in this rack.
Yeah, and
But the X, of course, is gonna help him a lot, but on this board, not quite yet. So we'll see what Jackson decides to do here. Um, Honestly, or John Jackson,
it is
no, it is
Jackson's
Jackson's
turn.
turn.
Yeah.
It's Jackson's turn. I got it right. All right. Um, it's a bit of a tough spot, though, having the 1 point tiles and also not a lot of scoring opportunities.
Yeah, Jackson's going to have to
Um,
make a similar decision to that Kevin just made. ADEN is about the best leave he can hold, and if you play off the letters NOU, you can play Unco through the C and cranny. Scores just 10, but keeps a good, nice balance
hmm.
leave. Or you can play longer, and over this tournament, we've seen Jackson take these racks and forego the fishy type plays in lieu of playing off more of these tiles, digging deeper into the bag, perhaps getting a chance at more
I
blanks.
do like that. That's something I like to do for sure. But if people know me, it sets up Duenna. I believe it's double end too, right?
It is only
Takes
double end.
Duenna.
He's looking to play through
It's
the
only
end.
double
I
end.
like this
Ah,
play a lot.
that
So
makes
20 points
sense.
for Jackson, a good way to get out of this rack. And once again, Unco looks like a clear, obvious play, but Jackson doing what he's done all tournament, playing a little bit longer, not getting caught up on a fishing expedition, and playing Duenna for 20 points. I am a big fan of this play. I think it's a great
Oh
decision.
yeah, it's a great play, and it leaves very little scoring opportunities in his eyes as well. Clearly, Kevin, from Jackson's perspective, I would think that Kevin is fishing, which he is, playing off ET and then ETT. So I would come to the conclusion that he has mostly 1 point tiles. Of course, he did draw the X with that 3 tile draw, which was unlikely, but uh, yeah, he's thinking about just putting down EX aligned with Duenna. Unfortunately, Exhilarate is not good without the H, so
Right.
that 9 through AT would not. I think Jackson would notice that,
Right.
unfortunately.
Yeah, no, Kevin. Kevin showing exactly the danger of these fishing expeditions. Yes, you bingo a lot after ET on the first turn, holding altar, but when you miss, it
And
gets so painful.
Jackson setting up conjoined on his rack just in case, gotta prepare.
just in case your opponent sats down and
Just
they
in case,
O and
actually, it's
an N
impossible.
or
But
O and an
yeah,
E in separate
going
places
an
for some
E is
reason.
not. It is not possible on this board, actually, but that's okay. He's just showing off his nines for the stream.
Absolutely, yeah.
But
So Kevin, I mean,
yeah,
EX next to Duenna, ED, and XU doesn't look like a particularly flashing play, and yet your options are just so limited here. If you truly want to play
yeah,
one, I suppose you can play Axile to the right of Duenna, making DE, but that gives up crushing
that
counter plays on the
yeah.
right side. I think you have to play EX here. Now that you've committed to this fishing
EX is
expedition, you
also
got to keep
giving
going.
up a decent amount too, but fortunately, Jackson doesn't have any besides Jen any long words on his rack. But yeah, pretty much. The thing about playing EX though is it'll definitely get the board open because pretty much the most likely spot that Jackson will play after that in Kevin's eyes would be above the EX, which would set up the triple and more
Yeah,
lanes likely.
Jackson would
So
have to have a six on his rack. He has played a lot of tiles off, so the odds that he has a
you wouldn't
six
have to have a
incredibly
six,
high.
honestly. I would say there are a lot of scenarios in which he would just play a 3 or a 4 there and have it be the best equity play
Perhaps, yeah,
considering the
in the absence of
boards.
an S, maybe that's all he can do. Ironically, in this case,
Yeah.
Jackson not going to play on top of EX, but EX would allow Jackson to dump joined to the ED, crush the board again,
Mm,
and score 30 points. Looks like Kevin is
yeah.
actually playing EX underneath instead. Perhaps for the reasons you mentioned, he doesn't want to give Jackson easy plays, but he is foregoing
Yeah.
3 points in order to do this.
How many points you said?
3.
3? Yeah. I think that's yeah. I think that's advisable, honestly, because yeah, the EX. I mean, if Jackson's played off he's played off 6 and then 5 tiles. Kevin's played off he's played off 11 in 2 turns. Kevin's played off 7 in 3 turns. So he's fishing through the bag a lot more. He could, and with the absence of S's and blanks that Kevin's drawing, there's what am I looking for? There's a pretty decent chance. There's a lot of reverse equity, let's say, for him that Jackson has could have blanks and S's. So early on in the game, if he slaps down a bingo with sex and it's just, you know, nearly nearly curtains at that point. Not curtains, but it's bad, especially with the double.
Jackson's got a cool decision here. The equity play, probably JIN or DJIN alongside Duenna, making ID and NU. I like playing just JIN here. Jackson's sitting on a D. One already played,
Yeah,
just two
Jackson will
unseen.
just play
So he
JIN.
sets himself up. Chat is also pointing out a similar version from the D, played DJIN and set up the back N. But I like this version a lot better.
I
DJIN
also like it.
as
Yeah.
well. This, I think, another great play by Jackson. Don't take the equity, skip
And
the D, set yourself up.
Kevin has couple of stray bingos, I think.
Yeah, earlier,
Unfortunately.
Learier. Both of those are unplayable for Kevin. He did his best to set up the board, but it's not going to work here. Kevin does have a really
Yeah.
good play, and he sees it already. Irate, holding AELR,
Hmm.
scoring quite well.
Nice.
Definitely his
That's
best play
nice.
here.
Hmm.
And
Won't
crucially,
take an
Irate,
S either, I don't
yeah,
think.
Irate taking
Yeah,
a back R.
Irate though.
Yes, and he's
Yes,
holding an
which he
R.
has.
So Kevin again
Yeah.
trying to set up bingos for himself.
Jackson also with the DR, but I unless my fives knowledge isn't
He's got
all too
Crony.
good, but
Crony fits
he's
right
got
there with
Crony.
Irate.
Yeah,
Shut
there it
this
is.
board back down and hold on to the D. That's about all you can ask to
That's
do if you're
yeah.
Jackson.
Oh boy, Kevin.
Crony is an awesome play. And Kevin picking up the
Uh,
Q. He plays ET holding Alter. And how many turns has he failed to bingo now? This is getting
oh jeez, this
ridiculous.
is tough. This is I mean, no, it's just some no, you make honestly, they weren't bad decisions in any way. It's just, when you think about equity and variance, these scenarios are just going to occur sometimes. And Jackson's going to play crony, which is by far the best play. Also, I wanted to point out JIN is also a good play by Jackson because you can make a little bit of an inference here that if Kevin had had a D, likely would have played Dex beside Duenna, but he instead played X under Cranny. So
Yes, yeah, that's a consideration as well. Oh boy, Kevin.
yeah,
What do you
and
do?
top players definitely going to be making rack inferences like that. And yeah, Kevin in a terrible spot once again.
All of a
Jeez,
sudden now you need an S to bingo on this board, or maybe a D to front hook ERE, making DERE. You
man.
have neither of those tiles. Your setup instead led to a bunch of points for
Well,
Jackson.
yeah. Well, you need a D for JIN as well.
Oh yeah,
That'd
yeah. You
be
need a
good
D
for
or an S to get anywhere on this board, and he's holding neither one, which has to be
yeah,
frustrating
or a
for
blank, of
him.
course. But we
I
know there are both blanks in the bag. He does not have that knowledge though, and Jackson's playing off a lot of tiles.
This is a tough
But
turn, but I think the right
yeah,
thing for Kevin to do is super counterintuitive. We're going to stop fishing here and play REAL alongside Crony. It's 25 points. OQT is a
yeah.
garbage leave, but this is a garbage
It's all
board.
he's got. It's all he's got. Yeah. No, he
Yeah.
can't. He really just can't. He has to score pretty much. The alternative to scoring is exchanging, and in this scenario, it's just completely unadvisable, especially with that triple spot open. So you gotta take the points, and you gotta just shoulder the OTQ leave. Ugh, I'm just
Yeah,
shivering
I mean, he can
looking
play
at it.
QAID to the ID. And in this situation, emotionally, you feel like you're down 1,000 points after missing on your fishes. You've now made what, 4 plays, and you have 56 points. Like, come on, man! I'm good at Scrabble, I promise.
Yeah,
But
and Jackson has foam if that's left open, which would
oh, geez, yeah, that's
be
gonna be a ton.
pretty devastating. Honestly, Kevin's just in such a tough spot where where he's in a position where he feels like he has to block, but he's also behind. Like, what? You're supposed to be blocking when you're ahead.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at least he's gonna be playing off some tiles. Hopefully, a 4 tile draw will give him some some decent luck. Maybe draw a blank or an S, or well, the D won't help him all too much because Jackson
Mhm.
will probably play above it once he puts down real.
Good job, Kevin. I like this play. It is so hard
Yeah,
to let go of that sunk cost fallacy. I've been fishing. I've been fishing. Forget it. I'm done. But this is what
yeah,
we do here.
certainly.
Good job. Good
No,
job,
no,
Kevin.
definitely the right play.
And this will pull him up 81 to 97 now, only down by 16, despite a
Yeah,
series of very unfortunate pulls, as Jackson hasn't hit him with the bingo, hasn't been scoring all that well himself.
Jackson's
But Jackson now, again, holding on to the D, A, D, F, G, M, O, U on his.
let's see, thinking about Doug.
I think
That's
Duma,
interesting.
Dogma,
Yeah,
or just Doom.
Duma Dogma. Yeah. Or Doom, but
DOUM.
he's looking at Doug right now, which is an interesting play. I sort of like it. The thing is about this board is just locked almost if you don't have an S. It or blank, of course. Though Kevin's just played off 4 tiles in Jackson's eyes. He knows all the S's are out there. He knows all the blanks are out there. So, kind of weird decision. Duma, so playing Duma might not be completely advisable. To leave that S spot open.
Yeah, Jackson, if I'm Jackson, I'm content to keep things tight. At the same time, I do want to go looking for an S. The taxis and Yets spot are going to be so important to get into this game, especially once Jackson
Mhm.
knocks out the DGIN hook. I think
Yeah,
he's doing
completely. And he
exactly what
opts
I
for
would do
Doom,
here. Yeah,
and
set up
which
your
of course
day.
takes an A, but Kevin does not have an A.
Yeah, and Jackson does.
And picking up the Q was not going to give him much compensation here when he upon the playing of the U here from
Yeah,
Jackson, unfortunately.
only one play that allows Kevin to get rid of the Q, and that is TOQUE through the U Jackson's just put out there. But that's a bit of a
Yeah,
wild
which
play.
is
You
and
open your
there's all
up.
the S's we were talking about
Oh, geez.
from Jackson's drawing them.
As Kevin chooses to
Oh man,
exchange IN.
Kevin's more ET. Oh man, how many times have we seen this?
Yeah,
We're
ET
just seeing
once again
reruns
for
now.
Kevin. Wow, that's funny. So exchanging INOOQ, I think traditional wisdom says hold EINT there, right? They're good and balanced. But on this board, they are not. You're not bingoing with those
Mm-mm.
tiles. You need an S, turn over more tiles. And I might have even considered exchanging
Absolutely.
7 out of that.
I'm a big fan of the Exchange 7. Anybody who knows me, Wheatie, is that good? Probably not. Is it?
I don't believe so. That's just the cereal.
And it is just the um, name of a certain person's ISC handle that I from the past.
Right.
Some
Correct.
people might
Speedy
know
dog.
whom I'm talking about. Yeah, Sweetie Dog.
So now Jackson gets to decide what to do yet again. He's in control in this game. He retained the A.
And
He's on 2S.
yeah, and he's got both S's now. If I'm Jackson and having drawn both S's, I'm content with playing hooking Duma and not having a big opening of the board at this current moment.
Yeah, the question is which
Having
play do I
exchanged,
make?
oh yeah, having exchanged 5, there's a pretty decent chance in Jackson's eyes that he could have just drawn the blank. Unfortunately, just Kevin's luck again. He doesn't, and he does play. Oh, he plays Doom and he cooks it with the S. That's interesting. That's yeah, definitely. Um, that's
I
yeah.
don't know.
No, I mean, obviously, knowing what the tiles are, um, he's gonna have a nice comeback play here.
Yeah, I think I preferred
But
Fees, Fease, making Duma in that situation, as not only does it
yeah,
give two different triples, so if
it
Kevin
gives
plays
the
on one,
fork
you play on the
too. Yeah.
other. But also, you're setting up the Duma's spot for yourself yet again with your second S. You're more likely to cash it in.
Think about that as it'd likely be blocked.
Yeah,
If you play Fees and Duma,
but if any
DOUMS.
case, you get one spot, I get one spot. Whereas now Kevin plays Tawie, and Jackson left without a place to play. I think I preferred Fees in that situation, but it is tough. I could see rationale for either play, as Kevin coming back with his clear and away best play of Tawie,
Yeah, it plays off
Tawie.
5 tiles too. Yeah,
Yeah, go big
and
and go.
another inference you can make: AES Jackson just played. If he had the blank there, likely would have bingoed. Not maybe not likely, but there's a decent chance he would have bingoed, and that's I say a lot of from his perspective, from my perspective, that's a lot of the way I view the game. Just thinking about metacognition, sort of, when I'm watching two people play, and when I'm playing myself, I like to make any sort of inference that I can that can improve my decision making at a certain crossroads. And Kevin picking up the V and doesn't look good right now. Not drawing the blank. Where are those blanks? I thought there were 2 of them.
They're usually the last tile in the bag. So yeah, that's what we've seen
Oh,
on
yeah, I
screen.
forgot about that.
Jackson has a great play here. I like playing Clog from the C and Cranny, CLOG. It sets up your S
I
again. It
agree.
knocks out
Yeah.
2 other S hooks, but it still sets up your S. Holds about as good as you're going to be able to do here. And
Doesn't set up much, obviously. JX already gone, so an OI beginning. I'd only be worried about if the X were in the bag, which it's not. But he's setting it up and looks like he's gonna do it. Yeah, I agree that it's the best play, probably.
yeah, kind of a no-brainer here.
Oh, but he's he's pondering a bit. It does take Ilex, obviously, but
If Ilex comes down,
whatever.
you've got Silex, so I don't care if you.
Ilex too, yeah. No, yeah, exactly. Good point.
All right. Well, we'll pass back over to Kevin. Clog puts Jackson ahead 163 to 117. After watching nearly 1,100 points on stream in our last game before lunch, perhaps we've got some of those post lunch sleepies, as this is going to be a low scoring game, almost certainly. trying to put the commentator hex on it is I'm always a fan of fireworks, except in my games, I play super tight because open boards give me anxiety. But I digress. Back to Kevin's.
I love open boards myself. Sorry, sorry to interrupt. I love open. When I'm behind, when I need to, when I feel like momentum's not going in my direction, I just love to, just create variance. Create variance out of thin air. Maybe it'll swing in your direction.
Yeah, variance definitely something Kevin's going to need pretty soon. We know that Jackson's sitting on an S, putting him far in control of this game, as Kevin yet to find one out of this pool. But he doesn't have many.
Luckily, both blanks are still out there, though.
Yeah, both blanks still unseen. I think Kevin's best play probably is just to play HO alongside safe, HEWHO. It's 22 points. I'd prefer to play off more tiles, but this board is getting so clogged up.
No, of course you want to play
You're
off more
welcome.
tiles. Yeah, but if you're Kevin, you just have so little here. Again, just Jackson, every single term seems to be putting him in a spot where he has to do this, has to do that. Oh, but setting up vlog, possibly opening up the board. That's what he's going to do for 16 points.
So clog, then
And
vlog.
clog vlog.
And
Something I probably
Jackson
wouldn't be
drawing
watching.
into not the best rack here, as ABEGIIS is his rack now, and he gets to decide what to do. Board is still quite clogged up. He can keep things rather tight.
Clogged.
IAMB plays through the A, or through the M rather.
And there's a blank for Kevin. There we go.
Hang on. Everybody write this down. This, I believe, is the first time this tournament where Jackson has been streamed and has not drawn both blanks. So if I have to make a prediction, Kevin's going to overdraw. Jackson will throw that blank back in the bag, and he will end up pulling it. But yeah, no, something has changed. The winds may be blowing up that desert air in Vegas. Jackson not drawing both blanks on stream this game, at least not that I think so. Yeah, so Jackson looking at Biali, Biali, which would be a good play for him. I believe that takes a back S2. I'm not certain on all my stuff anymore.
Oh, I was never certain.
Yeah, Biali does take the back S. So once again, now that
take a back
Jackson's
S,
S has been thwarted, he can set it back up. The play of IAMB through the M and Doom also looks quite good, but tough to see. We watched Noah Walton miss IAMBI earlier. Just nobody thinks to make a word with those patterns.
No, it's tough. That's such an easy miss for sure. IAMBI. Obviously, root word there being I am. But yeah, no, Jackson opting for BLI again. Is it what is it? What is BLI? It's
like
just BLI. It's an alternate spell. Yeah, it's an alternate spelling of BLI.
Yeah, it's an onion roll. Okay, so that's what
Yeah,
Jackson's going to play, setting up
they're
the
good.
S behind it. EGS, we don't like the
And
G,
Kevin's
but
got
it's okay.
biotech set up as well. Sorry, I keep talking over you, by the way. I just do that sometimes. I got diarrhea of the mouth,
Logorrhea is what we call that. But alas, it's all
Lager.
good. Hey, we're here, and a little delay between commentators is always tough to get through. But hey, we'll make it work. BEHIOT blank now for Kevin, as Biotech is going to play, as well as both these, BOTHIES. They'll both play on top of ERE.
Both
And
words he definitely knows, and there he goes.
A nice 69 points for Kevin, and that will actually springboard
that is
him
nice.
up into the lead, 202 to 177. As Jackson to respond to this bingo, he's got to be surprised to see a blank played against him, but he's going to smash this back. EATH plays underneath Biotech for 48. And it lets him hold that S one more turn, man. Jackson's just sitting on this S. He hasn't drawn a good way to unload it, but you've got to feel good having that positive momentum. I won't hit it next turn, but next turn, maybe I'll get it. So I like this.
And Kevin, yeah, but he's pulled ahead he's pulled ahead. Jackson obviously is a good pawn back, but Kevin drawing 7 tiles here. Possibly another blank.
Can he do the impossible?
I think less than 50 tiles.
Blank drawn, Jackson Smylie on the stream.
Yeah. There's still, there's still 2 S's left, still a blank. I'm not sure how many tiles have been played. I can count, but I'm too lazy.
30 unseen.
Oh, there's a Z, but no vows out. There's an I. Okay, interesting. I got visor, if that stays open, but it's not because Jackson's setting up Gash, and of course ETH is there as well.
Yeah, ETH is much
I
better
don't
than
know why he's
Gash.
setting up Gash. Yeah, I
I don't
was
know
gonna
if he
say.
sees ETH just quite yet. You really want to hold on to that S the way you've shaped this board to make it powerful. If Jackson
Oh,
whiffs ETH,
he's gripping for the ET, so hopefully he's going for ETH, but I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, I don't know. I think he needs to retain the S here. Yes, there he goes. ETH.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
That would be an
Okay,
uncharacteristic
well,
whiff for Jackson.
now he's got Kevin's got dip and dim above that, but terrible, not the greatest leave. It does the remaining tiles do seem to be on the vowely side, but
Yeah,
oh,
11
there's the cue
vowels,
that he threw back.
14 consonants, and a blank unseen. I think we're going to see Kevin play on top or through that E in biotech. He's got many options: Zep, Zed, or can go a little bit longer with something like prize or prized. All of those seem reasonable to me, but I think that's where we're going to see him play. Just a matter of how deep in that bag do I want to dig versus how many of these tiles do I want to hold on to. And as Noah said, slightly vowel heavy, but not very much so. That blank
Yeah, I can't
US
even
unseen.
see. But oh, he's got prized. How did we miss that?
I said prized. Yeah, yeah. Prized.
You
I think
suck.
definitely
All
the
right. You know
yeah,
what?
prized the right play. I think here we need an S if we're Kevin to get back into this game. I think this will put him ahead 240 to 225, and Kevin really wants to draw an S here to pull back into this game. I like the thinking. I like the play. As Jackson now GIQSUUK.
Oh, he's got Kipu.
Yeah,
Keep it key.
QUIPU sets up his S yet again. Jackson just setting
Oh
himself up
man.
every turn. He's
Gosh.
also got Quirk with no unseen Ys, which maybe is a more powerful S setup than GU.
E if a miracle E were to open, which is impossible, we know you'd have removals. Is that a word? Does that take an S?
Removals, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Of course. Yeah. Removal. Yeah.
So I think Jackson here got to decide between the two Q plays, either Quirk or Quipu. Quipu going to hold SK to crush that triple word score next turn. Thank you for pointing that out in chat. One wonderful fish. Or Quirk setting up maybe more typical plays for the S for Jackson. But can he set up an S? At this point, there's still two unseen to him with just 14 tiles in the bag and 21
14
total
tiles in the bag.
unseen.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, this game is
Well,
physically very
also the thing to consider with Quirk comes well, actually not much to consider. I was going to say something about the eye hook, but it's really there's no yeah, there's no what do you call the things on the board that score you points?
they are hotspots.
Hotspots, yeah. There are no hotspots there that are going to be easily reachable, so he will opt for Quirk.
Yeah, I think this is good. I think Quipu could be better, but let's see how many vowels unseen to Jackson. A E
And
E I O
obviously
O O.
he knows both Ys are gone as well. Quirky
Yes,
would be something there would be devastating, of course.
absolutely. Yeah, you can't play that with a Y unseen to you, but he knows
No,
that.
no.
Let's get the unseen pool displayed if we could from our team on the ground.
Keeper's better because of SK.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably one
perhaps
wonderful
so.
fish again.
But the S setup for Jackson is going to
GUS
be hit
sleeve.
here by Kevin instead. He's got lavs, avos, vars, moles, just a variety of different four-letter words to hit that spot, and he'll have to decide.
Yeah, no. The two S's were left, and he decided to Jackson decided to shoulder that risk, and the blank left too. He decided to shoulder that risk, but obviously this is going to be a lot of points, and he's going to put the V there for limited compensation or limited compensation for Jackson, and that's going to score a heck of a lot of points. I did not count, but
It is
it's a heck of a
44
lot.
points. Kevin jumping ahead now by
44
23,
points.
284 to 261 in a back and forwards game. So Jackson now holding an S, but a blank and an S unseen with just 6 in the bag unseen to Jackson. If you're Jackson, you're not thinking about bingos here. You're thinking about winning this game by outrunning your opponent. And you want to go out first when that's the case, when you're trying to outrun an easy
As
way.
Kevin picks up the second blank.
Oh, wow. Jackson is, in fact, double blanked on the stream. Is this real life?
How? He has a
Oh,
natural 7 in there that I do not know, but thanks to the magic of Ziziva, pomelo, a type of grapefruit.
yes, pomelo, yeah.
I've never had one. Have you?
I can't say that I have, but yeah, that won't
Well,
play
one
as
day.
far as I see on this board. Jackson
No.
got to be worried about this.
No.
Jackson definitely trying to go out first, and I think he's going to look to play 3 tiles
Yeah.
and leave 3 in the bag for Kevin, as that's one of the
Yeah,
easiest ways to
3
go out
leave
first.
is definitely considered by most people to be optimal in a wide variety of end games. Obviously varies based on situation, but you have to think about as well how likely is it that Kevin has the blank, but the play of VARs really doesn't reveal all too much. Maybe maybe there's a little bit of suggestivity. That's not a word, but I'm gonna say it. Or it might be a word. Suggestivity that he would have bingoed if he had the at blank and ARS. But again, hard to say. I could have easily played that still with the blank
I think
because of how many points it was.
Jackson, I think, looking to play a go on top of biotech here. ABBA, Git, and OOH. A go does take a front S hook. Again, Jackson holding on to an S in this situation, but one unseen, a blank unseen.
Yeah.
The other thing Jackson thinking about is there are only 4 vowels left in this pool. If Kevin has 3 or 4 of them, I'm in big trouble with my draw. But if Kevin has very few, I'm likely drawing several of them. So which of those is a better path to victory for me? I can't see any reason to play anything but a go, except maybe Sego or Sego in the vlog spot, as Jackson opting to do here. They score a little bit better, go a little bit deeper into the bag, and maybe Jackson feels these give him a better chance to go out before Kevin. Maybe he just feels like every point is important. But Sego holding AGU, holding the final A in the game, is what he's going to do. Maybe thinking he can play on top of biotech next turn. ELMOOP blank, again, Kevin Drac Pomelo and a blank. And that O is going to give Kevin a big bingo if he sees it. You're not looking to bingo through an O with 2 more on your rack, but
Wow.
Monopole plays as a bingo. That'll put this game away for Kevin, as Jackson's certainly not going to bingo with his rack. Though Kevin needs to think about this. Does he see monopole? And if he does, could Jackson bingo back? Is it worth bingoing now? It almost has to be, but take your time, Kevin.
Oh, absolutely. If he sees it, it should be going down in all scenarios. But it's a very tough find. So, I'd be even at an expert level, I'd be impressed if he found it.
Yeah, it'd be an impressive find, but I mean, you're not 4th place at the Scrabble Players Championship late on day 3 unless you're quite good on this game or at this game. So I expect Kevin to find it. Chat expects Kevin to find it. I'm honestly not very familiar with Kevin's game as he's out on the West Coast and I don't get to make it out there much for Scrabble, but chat seems to think Kevin's going to find this. Kevin's record and his history as a Scrabble player, his rating near 2,000 implies he likely knows this word as well, but it's crucial that he find this, as without finding this bingo, I'm not sure who's going to win this game.
Yeah, no. Without finding the bingo, I still think Kevin has a slight advantage with the blank, but Jackson, and also he'll draw the last S as well, if he decides to empty the bag.
He won't draw the last S if
from his perspective, there's SS in unseen tiles. So
in the bag, of course, we know this at home, and these players do not, but in the bag, 2 tiles, IN. And so if Kevin makes a 2-tile play, his rack is going to be so incredibly good that
Oh, he's found it. He's got it.
Yes, yes, he sees it. Mono pole. Now that he's seen it, it's a matter of deciding if it's good and more deciding which placement you want to play it is in.
Yeah. No, obviously, if he's unsure it's good, then that's another story as well, because there's certainly other options that score well and are safe. And he might think, and he, might not want to take the chance, given his inherent advantage from his perspective, holding the blank going into an end game. But it will come down,
Yeah,
monopole.
here it comes. So
Excellently
Jackson
done.
has been double blanked on board 1, and it is going to end up being a loss for him as Kevin dropping monopole. Even if Jackson is quite sure this is a word, the type of player he is, he knows this is game over, and I bet he challenges.
It's unwinnable if he doesn't challenge, of course.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah,
Has
I'm
he even
certain
held?
Kevin.
No?
Yeah, Kevin's on hold here. He's not drawing his tiles.
Yeah.
You'd like to see what those last 2 are, just so he can figure out this end game. But
Oh,
Jackson
yeah,
being
of
a
course.
hold again. Even if you're 98% sure this is a word, it's only spread. Spread may matter in this tournament, but wins matter quite a bit as
Wins
well.
and losses, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if Jackson chooses to challenge. Of course, us at home know it's a word. Jackson likely knows it's a word. He would have probably challenged very quickly if it seemed even remotely foreign. He's just sitting there like, I know this is a word. How many spread points am I going to lose? What tiles is Kevin going to draw? Is he going to go out for sure with those 2? Because if he is, this is now like an 80-point swing in spread. And yeah.
How many outplays does he have? Because
Oodles.
Unseen tiles on IN. I'm seeing. I saw WN. That's odd.
Nope.
On
IN. So
unseen
yeah,
tiles
Kevin.
by accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin's certain to go out here, and
Yeah.
Jackson
Yeah.
realizes he's going to
IN,
cost
of
himself a lot
course.
of spread, probably doing exactly the math, going to calculate, I am about 95% sure this is good. I'm going to lose this many spread points if I play this end game correctly, as opposed to challenging this off. And I wouldn't be surprised if he challenges. That doesn't mean he thinks it's a word or not, but simply, even if he's quite certain,
Yeah.
going to
No,
challenge here.
he's realized that he has no chance otherwise. That's the
Yeah.
only possible scenario if it's somehow not good. But of course, we know that it is good, and it will result in Kevin's victory and a lot of spread points that were unexpected. And Jackson will finish scoring under 300.
It happens even to
Pretty
some of
rare
the best
sight.
players on the continent. You don't break 300 points. And of course, he could have if he wanted to, but he's going to challenge this word, play for the win. He will come back unsuccessful and lose the game. Kevin to go out, probably IN underneath the Q and quirks for 15. We're looking at a 102-point differential in what was a back and forwards game until about 2 minutes ago. So the final score, not always indicative of what happened in the game. This is a great example of that. Kevin going to coast to a 102-point
Probably
victory.
just 102 points, and he's probably just gonna play IN side quirks. Yep, there he goes, and that's gonna bring him to 102. Whew, man, well done by Kevin. What looked like was gonna be a runaway game from Jackson ends up with a 100+ victory for Kevin.
So wow, after getting caught up in the sticks, ET drawing ET again, yet for 14, picking up the Q and the X and never getting that bingo down. Kevin didn't actually bingo until halfway through the game and then once more, and Jackson 0 bingos in this game. 0 blanks in this game. And this is going to shake up the field quite a bit as Jackson, looking like he may run away with this, is going to drop to 4 losses. Several players at 12-6 right now. Jackson now just 2 games ahead with 9 to go before we pull 2 players off for a best-of-5 finals. Let's see if we can cut to the overhead mic after this game and see if we can catch some of this banter.
There was one essay and playing. And,
It's kind of weird. Early on, it was the draws. Like, I played ET, and I play off my duplicates. I had the ET, and then LIT, and then I draw ET. But like if this is open, then I got RACLETT.
Oh yeah. That's exactly what I thought you had actually. With Yet, yeah, I thought you had AELR. So you had AELRT with ET.
LIT.
Yeah, I figured that was one of like the two things you could have. I figured you had no S. So that makes sense. What about X? Why did you play X there instead of here? Was it like a defense sort of thing?
I don't know. I was just kind of worried that maybe you had something that you were interested in. I don't know. It's kind of tough. When I played here, I had drawn a Q. And I was like, really, the only reason I felt like I had to play here was to take that spot.
Yeah, I had a big play there.
And then I think it's true.
Yes. No,
Well, it looks like they're going to go ahead and submit the scores here. Always interesting to hear what the players thought was the most interesting, what questions they have for each other, what complaints they're going to give after the game. But Jackson, why did you play EX here and not up here? The questions we were asking as well. Very interesting stuff. We are going to take a short break. I believe next round we have a first versus second matchup as Josh Sokol seeks to exact revenge on Jackson and go back to evening their overall head-to-head record. They played 87 tournament games, Jackson with a 1-game lead in their overall head-to-head record. Their first game was a great one, and I'm looking forward to the rematch. We'll have that with y'all here shortly. Again, this is the Scrabble Players Championship in 2023 from Las Vegas, Nevada. $10,000 for the first place winner. We're showing NWL games all day today and tomorrow, as well as for the finals. And if you're a Collins fan, we will pop over to Collins Broadcasting for the Westpac or World Championship, which is set to begin 2 games after this one. Lots of diehards playing Scrabble in Vegas, lots of diehards playing poker as we've got the World Series of Poker going on at the same time, and the WNBA All-Star Game last weekend in Las Vegas as well. So lots of fun stuff going on. Lots of FOMO or SOMO, sadness of missing out for me.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. Again, Matt Canik joined by Noah Kalus, and we'll be back in a few minutes with 2 more games of Scrabble this afternoon. Until then, stretch your legs, get some water, grab a snack, and we'll be back in a few short minutes.